go really well one day and make the same game go terribly another. So to make sure that we have the best chance of success in introducing board games to the family, we need to start influencing this metagame. So today we're going to look at one aspect of this, how to teach new games. Okay, so you've got a new game. You're really excited about it. You've maybe read a review, or maybe you've even seen it on this video channel. You know a little bit about the game. You're sure the family are going to love it. You're really excited about playing it. How do you get it to the table and get it taught in the most effective way possible to give you the best chance of success so that your family will love it too? Because a lot of the time we end up hating games, not because they're a bad game, but we've had a bad experience playing it. So new games are particularly susceptible to this because no one likes learning new rules, really. Well, most people don't like learning new rules. And many people don't like not knowing what they're supposed to be doing or not fully understanding what they're supposed to be doing. So it's the most, difficult time around, the metagame is the most volatile around learning new games. So here's some ideas about things you can do. Firstly, make sure you unbox the game well before you intend to play it. If you're excited about the game and the components within it, it's really tempting to go, oh, come on kids, let's open the game together. It's really exciting. And then if your kids are excited about that too, they might want to say, yeah, let's play it. And you can just get carried away. Now, if you haven't yet learnt the rules and worked out how you're going to teach it, it's a really big mistake to unbox it with your family and then carry on and play it. You need to take the time to prepare. So make sure that unboxing experience is great. You can do that with the family, but make sure you set their expectations so that they know that they're not going to go straight into playing the game. Say, we're going to open this today and we're going to play on Friday. We can look at all the components, we can punch out all the bits, all that really fun family things that you want to do together. You don't want to necessarily do it all by yourself. Kids love punching stuff out. So you don't need to take that away from them. Just say, look, we're going to look at it all. We're going to look at all the bits. We're going to make sure we've got everything. And then we're going to put it away and I'm going to learn it and I'm going to teach it to you on Friday. So that's tip one. Unbox well before you intend to play. Secondly, learn the game on your own. Do not try and learn the game while you have the rest of the family sitting around the table. It's a total recipe for disaster. There's nothing more frustrating than watching someone else sit there and read out of a rule book. It's absolutely infuriating. Now, there are some people that are really quick at, played loads of games, quite quick at reading rules, but most of us aren't like that. It takes time and it takes concentration. If you're playing games for the first time, they might introduce concepts you've never heard of that you have to get your head around. And for many, many people, just reading the rule book isn't necessarily a good way of learning yourself. So for me, what I tend to do is I'll get the rule book, I'll get all the components out, make sure I know what I've got, I'll set it up according to the rule book, I'll follow the instructions, because usually rule books have really good setup instructions with pictures, and then I can make sure I know where everything is and what I've got. And then I might read an introduction. If it tells me a little bit about the theme, I might do that. But pretty much always at that point I'm going over to I'm Googling how to play Maracaibo, how to play Pictionary. I think we all know how to play Pictionary. And I'm Googling it. I'm getting the someone else who's really thought about how they're going to teach it. I'm letting them teach me. And because we assimilate things much better generally from other people, or many people do. So if you learn better from someone telling you something than from reading it on a page, look for that. On every single game you'll ever want to play, there are videos. Learn yourself and then play it by yourself, or play a few rounds by yourself so that you get used to which bit goes where and the phases of the game and what happens in a turn and the the key resources and what the cards do and when you do certain things and what you do at the end of a turn, so that you've got that built into your recall. If you just read a rule book and you don't try it yourself, that might not go in. You need that sort of, oh yes, and now we do this. It becomes that muscle memory. It becomes very easy to recall once you've done it a few times. Thirdly, make a plan about how you're going to teach the game to other people. You should try and keep your introduction to the game, your rules, fairly short. 10 minutes is about as much as most people want to sit and listen. That's really difficult when you've got a complicated game. Now, some games are getting a bit better at providing a sort of step-by-step teaching or learning guide. And these might say, oh, give the players these rules before you start, and then you can introduce this rule on round 3 and this rule on round 4. Now, some players like that because it gets them started quickly. And I think you have to be a judge for your family. And you know that you know your own children. Some children want to know absolutely how everything works before they even make one move. I have one of these. He wants to know how he's going to win, and he wants to know all the nuances to all the mechanics. And then I might sit there and teach him by himself without anyone else there, because the others do not want to know. And so having those two different styles in the room being taught in the same way, that doesn't always work. So make a plan about how you're going to teach. For many people, all they need to know is a brief introduction. What are we trying to do? The aim. The victory conditions are important. And then what happens on my turn? What are the kinds of things I can do on my turn? Or what's the order of things I can do? And then plan that you've got a few things you're going to teach in round 1, a few things you're going to teach in round 2, and you stick to that plan. Just make yourself a few notes. It's eminently helpful. The only thing you need to do is, if you're not telling everybody what all the rules are up front, just say that at the beginning. So I'm not going to tell you all the rules, but I'm going to tell you some rules after the first round and some more after the second, so that you can get a feel for it and I'm not giving you information overload. Tip 4, don't take it personally. People get frustrated when they are learning new things. It is normal. The tension tends to build. If you're trying to explain something and someone else is seemingly doing everything they can not to understand, that can be infuriating. It's hard learning new stuff, and some people don't react brilliantly to it. So don't take it personally. Try and be quite calm and as unemotional as you can. Don't let their tension give you tension, because that's not the best way of teaching people things. So don't take it personally. If somebody needs a break and wants to come back to it, come back later. Next, if you find that videos help you learn, use them when you're teaching other people. There are quite a lot of these very quick 5 minutes, how to play in 5-minute videos. Now, they won't tell you everything. They won't tell you how to set up, but that doesn't matter because you know that already. You will have learnt that already. But they're just enough to give you an overview and tell you what you're trying to do. And if you found those videos helpful for yourself, play them for your family, because those people are professional board game explainers, or at least if they're doing videos about it, they're doing it a lot. So they will have thought about how to explain games to people. They might be able to do it better than you. So don't be afraid to use resources or podcasts or videos, clips of things that will just help you get across the game to your family fairly quickly. Now, it's a tricky one, this one, but I absolutely believe that you should not teach strategy. Keep the strategy tips out of your explanation of the game. It's tempting when you're playing with your children, particularly if they're younger, to try and explain to them how they can win by the choices that they're making. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is explain to them how they can play, what choices they have, rather than how to make those choices. The whole point of games is that you try things, and it's so low risk, it's a low risk environment. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you fail. You play them again and again, and iteratively you become more skilled. So you don't need to explain how to win to children. They're not stupid. They're going to be able to pick it up. If you're playing a different strategy, or if your wife or your daughter or your whoever, your granny is playing a different strategy, that child will pick up on that. And they'll try to do something else. And part of the joy of winning or losing is that you've done it by yourself. If you're being told what to do, it takes all the sort of decision-making power away from you. And it's the choice that you have as a player that makes game playing really exciting. So don't be tempted to teach strategy. I suppose the only caveat to that is that if you know that there's something catastrophic that might come up in the game, like a huge card that could stop a particular strategy from winning or could prevent it from winning, and you have that information and the rest of the family don't, you might want to give that information about what might come up. But that's the only time I dabble in strategy, really. And finally, treat everyone equally. Don't assume that because you're teaching a 7-year-old, they're going to find it harder to understand the game than your husband. It's not necessarily true. I say this through experience. Treat everybody the same, give them all the same instructions. Don't give special treatment to any one person unless they have a special need that requires it. Children are going to learn how to play through playing. And don't underestimate how much they can do and what they can learn. Okay, so there are some tips for how to teach new games to your family.